Cocktails is because I travel a lot. Yeah. So today I'm going to tell you what is the happiness. Honestly speaking, I have no idea what is happiness. But I found out that there is a nation which is ranked to be the happiest on earth, and it is Denmark. So I had an opportunity this winter to go to Denmark and see what is happiness and how it looks like. Actually, my trip started in Germany, where I was doing my internship, and I headed to Denmark. It was really complicated, so I got there very tired and, let's say, smelly. So as soon as I got there, what would have been your first place to go in a new place? In my case, I went to Jan Gehl's office. And those, by the way, who knows who's Jan Gehl? No idea. Thank you. Yeah. Jan Gehl is a famous architect, actually an urban planner, who changed the way we live in cities, right? And so I went to his office, and I found it, and I was hoping to see an amazing, huge building, but I found out that there was nothing. There was no even a sign. Then I took my Google Maps, yeah, whenever you travel, you should use more Google Maps. So I found that it was not so far. I sneaked in and found out that he only rented one floor and a few more rooms. Luckily he was not there, because I should have taken a shower first. But I took a picture, yeah, of me standing in front of his office. Unfortunately, we don't have a presentation, so I'm not going to be able to show you. Yeah, I'm going to share it sometime later. He was not there. Actually, they told me that he was in Tashkent. Come on, yeah, I flew all the way from Kazakhstan to Denmark to see Jan Gehl, but he was not there. I said, okay, at least I can see what he did and what he changed, right, in Denmark. So I decided to walk through the street called Strøget. Strøget is the longest pedestrian street in Europe. And actually all the streets in the world, especially pedestrian ones, are trying to, implement something like that, at least to imitate it. So I passed it, and actually, it did not impress me so much. Because, for example, in Panfilova Street in Almaty has a lot of things, right? A lot of decorations. But Strøget had nothing. But it had a lot of people there. And they were drinking coffee, they were walking, they were doing a lot of amazing stuff. And I noted that, and they took pictures too, and you're not going to see them. Unfortunately, yeah, sorry for that too. So later on, I passed that street and finally got to my hostel. When I was trying to find a hostel, I decided to find a hostel near the park, because at that time I liked to run. So I wanted to make my 15-minute run. I went there and I asked the locals, so is it a good place to run? They told me, no, it is not good. People in Denmark love to run around the harbor. So I said, okay, I'm going to try that. When I went there, it was made of concrete. And concrete is not a good surface to run on. So I decided to run in a park, basically, just on the ground. And actually, I did that and recorded it on Strava app, right? I was trying to show that too, so I guess that it is there. And took a picture of me in front of Mermaid. So later on, after I got a shower and I had a nice time, I decided to say, okay, it's time to understand why Denmark is happy. Denmark has its own unique way of life, which is, made in a concept called hygge. Hygge has no, direct translation in many languages. Hygge, the closest word which comes to hygge is coziness. Like a cozy place, when you like to spend time. But actually, it is not a word which completely, describes the term. Because it also contains, being part of a society. It has a meaning of togetherness. Yeah, so you cannot be alone. Even if you are alone in, let's say, Denmark, you have a feeling of being loved. So I walked around the city and tried to find where is the hygge. And I found that the city was really decorated, a lot. And it seemed to be okay, right? It was a Christmas time almost, so it should be decorated. The thing was that Germans told me that, they start to decorate the city only 3 weeks prior to the Christmas. And I was almost 1 month before that. But the city was decorated already, and it was packed with American tourists. And they told me that this is the way we live. This is how we see the world. And I love that, and they saw that, and they thought, okay, maybe we need to, take something from Denmark and apply it in Kazakhstan. But I thought, okay, why not to see the real locals? On my way from Germany to to Denmark, I met a guy, and I thought, why not to call him? He's a local. And I met him, and I told him, let's have a coffee. And he told me, like, I don't have money. I was like, okay, the coffee's on me, but I get suspicious. Why he has no money? He turned out to be a homeless guy. And I met him on my way from Germany to Denmark. And he was not a local. He was from Hungary. And he called himself, and those people like him, freeloaders. Basically people who, get everything but contribute nothing to the society. And I thought, okay, maybe it's not a good idea to, socialize with him. But then he told me that, they have an amazing social system in Denmark. You can have a free food here. You can do everything for free. And I said, why not to try that? And I went to a place, actually 2 places. And I found out that they gave a free food, but people there did not like foreigners. And I started to think, why? Why it's like that? And actually decided to think about that and found the way called free riders, problem. When a person gets everything but does not contribute to anything. So I thought that on my way back, on my way back to Germany, I actually flew there, right? I took a boat, and it was a nice time. And I thought, why don't we make our own, Hygge, which would be way more different and which would, take all the ways and all the things we see in happiness. And Danish people told me that life is not about life's not about holding, good hand. Life is about playing bad hand well. Yeah, something like that. If I had, presentation, it would be way more better.
Okay, thank you.